For decades, Robert Mitchum and Charlton Heston stood as towering figures of classic Hollywood. Both were icons. Both were respected. And yet, behind the polished smiles and studio publicity, there was a tension few ever understood. Before his death, Robert Mitchum quietly revealed a truth about Charlton Heston that surprised even those closest to him, a truth that reshaped how many now view one of Hollywood's most powerful legends. Two titans, two very different men. On the surface, Mitchum and Heston seemed cut from the same cloth. They were strong, commanding screen presences. Men who embodied toughness, authority, and moral certainty. But in reality, they could not have been more different. Robert Mitchum was famously rebellious. He despised Hollywood politics, ignored studio rules, and treated fame with open contempt. Charlton Heston, on the other hand, was disciplined, outspoken, and deeply invested in structure, both on screen and off. From the beginning, their philosophies clashed. Mitchum's problem with Hollywood pretenders. Mitchum never hid his disdain for what he called manufactured virtue in Hollywood. He respected authenticity above all else. In private conversations later in life, Mitchum hinted that he believed Charlton Heston wasn't entirely genuine, not as a man, and not as an actor. According to Mitchum, Heston didn't just play authority figures. He became one. Charlton Heston's moral authority. Heston was known for portraying biblical leaders, warriors, and historical heroes. Moses, Ben-Hur, El Cid. These roles gave him a public image of moral superiority, an image Heston carried proudly into real life. Mitchum found that unsettling. He believed Heston blurred the line between character and self-image, often lecturing others about ethics, politics, and behavior. To Mitchum, this wasn't leadership. It was performance. The comment that raised eyebrows. Near the end of his life, Mitchum reportedly told a close friend. Charlie never left the stage. The comment wasn't meant as praise. Mitchum felt Heston lived as though the world were watching, even when it wasn't. Every speech. Every public stance. Every moral declaration. To Mitchum, it felt rehearsed. Politics deepened the divide. The rift between the two men widened dramatically over politics. Charlton Heston became one of Hollywood's most outspoken political figures, particularly later in life. He embraced leadership roles that demanded public speeches and strong ideological positions. Mitchum despised this. He believed actors had no business preaching to the public, especially while benefiting from fame they claimed to rise above. To Mitchum, Hollywood activism often felt hypocritical. He loved power too much. One of Mitchum's most revealing remarks came during a rare candid interview late in life. Without naming Heston directly, Mitchum criticized actors who, in his words, fall in love with the sound of their own authority. Those close to Mitchum knew exactly who he meant.